whatever reason, and I'm not going to get into that, we've heard that ad nauseum. You find that humorous, Constable Shirley?
Okay.
You get 5 minutes just like everybody else that gets 5 minutes.
Okay, fine.
You're sitting up here preaching to us like to go work in the emergency ward at the hospital. If he doesn't think it's contagious enough or whatever, it's...
Welcome back to another Shark Show. We're going to do something a little bit different today. Not just is this the Shark Show, but this is going to be the Shark Tank. Because we have found somebody that is going against the rules and needs to be put in the Shark Tank today.
Yeah, a little egregious behavior, I would say.
Yeah, and it's a pattern, I think, that we've seen. So I think today's Shark Show is Shark Tank. Judge Ron Massengill. And we're going to start off today on kind of how this came about. It went from, of course, Nate went up to the Commissioner's Court the other day to try to speak and get his time in. And then throughout the time we've been doing these videos, we've noticed a pattern of behavior from some of the court members. On Tuesday, November 24th, there was a Commissioner Court meeting. So, go to the county's website, look at the whole video. We're not just picking apart different things like you would think on social media. This is transparent. This is truth. Go to the video yourself. And Nate goes up as a citizen to speak and get his 5 minutes that are in the Commissioner Court rules.
Yes.
Let's watch this video and see how this all started.
we have Nathan CRISWELL that signed a public participation form wanting to speak on this item. And also, Dr. Granick, you would be next to speak on this item after Mr. CRISWELL.
Now, Judge, just real quick before we get started, if I could call your attention to Section 4, Paragraph A of the Hood County Commissioner's Court Rules of Decorum. I would like to get the 5 minutes that's outlined there.
I stated before that it's 3 minutes.
Yes, but the rules state that it's 5 minutes, Judge. And the rules outline a deal for a variance if you want to go through that.
Show me what you're talking about. You got to...
Section 4, Paragraph A, yes, sir.
So the judge doesn't know. He wants Nate to show him what he's talking about because he has no clue.
So you want to exercise your full 5 minutes?
Yes. And also for anyone else that signed up to speak, it's not just about...
Well, Mr. Mills, would you check this out right quick and see if this is...
So Mr. Mills is the county attorney in Hood County. Now he's got to check it out.
I thought I could too.
Well, I think there was a deal where, like, if there was a big list of people...
And Cotton's going back and forth saying, hey, I thought you could do what you wanted.
We could cut it to 3, but if it was hardly anybody or just one, it was normally 5 was the default. Is that...
It's rules of procedure conduct that's online.
Okay,
right?
I think that's what we'd...
And once again, in comes Commissioner Eagle.
Shorten it or lengthen it, but it's 5 minutes, what I'm seeing right here.
Okay. Well, I'll try to pull it up.
It's 5 minutes, but I thought that the court had the discretion to shorten it or lengthen it.
He's right, the court does.
Well, I think there's another...
Court is not just the judge.
Right. Vote on it. They never voted.
Minutes for all 10 of you or whatever.
How much is the bunch?
I don't know. Is that what it says?
I believe...
Let me read it.
Okay.
Here we go.
There we go.
Recently, so you
Well,
got
I
me on
want
the
you to
spot.
read it for me.
This is
We'll go ahead and do
section
that.
C.
The one person on the court knows.
This is 4 sections. It says, in matters of exceptional interest, the court may, by a majority vote of the members of court in attendance at the meeting, either shorten or lengthen the time allocated for a particular member of the public, all members of the public, or the amount of time allocated for an agenda item. So we can lengthen, shorten, but it is 5 minutes in the rules that we got online.
No, we have 2 people that's speaking here today. I'm going to go ahead and keep it at the 3 minutes. That's what I announced at the beginning.
And so he comes up and says, we're going to keep it at 3 minutes.
Right, and Commissioner Eagle even read the rules out and pointed out it has to go to a majority vote. Apparently, the majority vote is the judge.
Yeah, the one vote. And that's part of the reason, he's in the Shark Tank today is because, he had the rules in front of him. He was told about the rules. All they had to do was vote.
And it would have gone his way.
Yeah.
With the current makeup of the court, he would have been able to limit it. But me going up there, it wasn't about me wanting to give some grandiose speech for 5 minutes. They have rules and they're not following them. That's not the way this should be run, and especially for the judge to take that action by himself, it doesn't sit well with me, and I don't think it's going to sit well with a lot of the people in Hood County.
And the thing about it is he spent several minutes arguing about 2 more minutes that you would have gotten just so you wouldn't speak as a citizen.
Yeah.
And, he should err on the opposite side.
Right.
If you've gone your 5 minutes and you're finishing up, or you say, hey, finish up your 5 minutes, we can talk later. But no, it's the opposite. It's limit the citizens as much as possible.
That's what he does. And this is part of a larger pattern of behavior. I'm not the first person that's experienced this with the judge. There have been several people, which we're about to show you, who have gone up to the podium and said something that the judge doesn't like, and he either cuts off their time or just starts basically harassing them. And to me, that's not conduct, that I want from a county judge, but it's also not conduct becoming of a county judge.
And let's look at the first video. And once again, the citizens need to make up their mind. Should they give in the 5 minutes like it says in their own, rules, in their very own rules? Should they? They could have voted on it and they didn't. Should they be treated this way? This is up to, this is their words, not ours.
Yeah.
Or I should say, this is the judge's words.
Well, because he's tired of hearing about it. So he's tired of hearing about something, so he just doesn't want you to speak.
Right.
Yeah.
And let's look at the second video now.
Constable Shirley decided that he, for whatever reason, and I'm not going to get into that, we've heard that ad nauseum. You find that humorous, Constable Shirley?
Not at all, Judge.
Yeah, well, you were laughing. I just find it out because I'm tired of hearing about this.
So, after Nate, the next one is Constable John Shirley. And we've seen this on the Constable Shirley video, and that's how we found this one at this time. And the judge is on the dais, and he looks out and says, you find that funny, Constable Shirley? And we went over this already, and of course, he's frustrated, right?
Yeah.
And, he finishes up with what?
He's tired of hearing about this as well.
Yeah, he's tired of hearing about it. Once again, he knows everything, right? He's been up there for months and months and months, like he said, and now he's tired of hearing about it.
Yeah.
He's not tired of talking about it,
No.
but he's tired of hearing about it from who? The elected officials, the citizens, and this is just the second one.
Right.
Let's go to the third clip now, third video.
Because if everybody got ill at the same time, there would not be enough beds for everybody. That's the critical point.
Yes,
That's
I
the
understand
critical
that.
point.
I understand that.
Okay, well, we want to be able to take care of everybody, not just the old
Well, you
people.
can't-
Not middle-aged people, not just mothers, but fathers and children and anybody that's got sick. Those were all the factors that we had to factor in based upon what the CEOs of hospitals were telling us. Look, we only have these many beds.
Can I interrupt you? From the last meeting, I watched the last meeting. One thing that I gathered from you is you do a lot more talking than listening. You do a lot more talking than listening. And I'm saying these things not to get a response. I understand all the facts.
Your time is
I've
up.
read.
Your time is up.
Oh.
Thank you very much for
I
voicing.
figured it would be once I said that.
No, you get 5 minutes.
Okay.
You get 5 minutes, just like everybody else that
Okay.
gets 5 minutes.
Only
and you
5
used
minutes.
up-
We gave you.
But I also
minutes.
listened for 5 minutes, so thank you.
So what we have is Mary Dix, who works at Lift the Bar, correct?
Yeah.
And she's up at the podium trying to speak to the commissioner's court.
Trying.
And the judge is going on and on and on about the beds and we have to do this and that while she's out of a job trying to feed her family.
Right.
When you step up to that podium as a citizen, you're there to speak to your elected representatives.
Your time is
I've
up.
read.
Your time is up.
Oh.
Thank you very much for
I
voicing.
figured it would be once I said that.
The judge said your time is up when she said, I've read it and I understand the facts, and she disagrees with the judge.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then boom, your time is up, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't just your time is up.
Listen to the tone of his voice right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I mean, he sounds like he's scolding her. That's not how elected officials should be talking to their citizens. And, they keep saying, oh, your time's up. You got 5 minutes just like everybody else. they were interrupting her when she was up there to talk. So,
The whole time.
you know,
Yeah.
they didn't want her to present a logical, fact-based case.
You don't do that to a citizen.
No.
I don't know. If you guys are watching, maybe you think elected officials should act that way, but I sure don't.
Yeah, and you know, really what the judge should be doing is somebody comes up to talk, they get done, and he says, "Thank you for your, input, and we'll take it under advisement." Next person. That
Right.
should be it.
Right.
If you're really a concerned servant of the people, not only would you say that, Nate, but you would make a point to find Miss Dix and sit down and have a conversation with her.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
just simple. That's a servant of the people. But that's number 3. Let's go to number 4. And, this is the time of COVID, and, this is Mr. Todd Hebert from Lift the Bar also, because his business was shut down. And let's look at the video from his.
The stay-at-home mandate stops people from getting together to petition the removal of an elected official or demonstrate against elected officials and their orders. Exactly why the Constitution was written, and the First Amendment is the First Amendment.
So what we have is Mr. Hebert, owner of Lift the Bar, and he wants his business to be open. A lot of people work for him, and their families depend on that. So he goes up and speaks about the First Amendment, the right to assembly. Basically he can keep his business open and the government can stay out. And how do you think that sets the judge?
It doesn't set him off too well.
No, it doesn't. So let's listen to the rest and see how this kind of progresses.
What is the other job that you have?
I run an environmental remediation division,
For whom?
CCI.
What, is that a private company?
Yes, sir.
So now we have a judge
Is that exempt?
questioning a
under the governor's
citizen
It's an energy services
about a
company,
private
yes, sir.
company
Right.
when he's there to protect
order?
the
So
citizen.
if it's an exempt, and it was an essential service that was asked to shut down, would your company violate the governor's order?
Say again? Would my,
If your company
Okay.
was not an essential business
right?
and was non-essential, I'm just giving you the hypothetical.
Okay?
And let's stop it right there. The hypothetical. He's asking a citizen hypothetical questions about opening and not opening, about feeding his family or not feeding his family, sitting on a bench, grilling a citizen about what he's going to do hypothetically.
He's really acting, especially in this video and the other ones we've shown today, like the Highland Park divorce attorney he is, and not like the Hood County judge should be acting.
Exactly. It makes it look like he's got him up there on trial and he's examining him, questioning him. Yeah.
It's funny you say being on trial, because any attorney worth their salt, if you give a witness a hypothetical, you object and say calls for speculation.
Right.
It's sustained almost every time. He's doing stuff that, sleazy attorneys do, not what county judges should be doing.
And this is part of the reason why, for a county judge, part of being a county judge, you don't have to be an attorney. And I really think you're better off not being an attorney, because you look at it from more a judicial standpoint than a protecting the citizen standpoint. But let's go on after this hypothetical and see what happens when the judge gets called in and saying, hey, this is what you should be doing.
You think that your owners of your company would violate the governor's orders?
I have no idea. I'm not their owners.
Do you think you would if you were working for the company?
Well, I'm trying
You
here.
have to answer to your superiors and the owners of your company, Mr. Hebert.
Do you have to answer to the superiors of your company? Now, he raised his voice. He's going after this citizen because he wants to keep his gym open. And I can't fathom this on why an elected official would treat a citizen like this.
There's no excuse for it.
And the owners of your company, Mr. Hebert.
And you too. You have to answer
I
to
didn't
the,
ask
to
you
the
that,
citizens.
sir. I asked you, would you sitting up here preaching to us,
Did you hear that?
Well, I mean, I only hear one person preaching up there.
Yeah. He goes, I didn't ask that. And Mr. Abear said, look, you have to answer to the citizens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't ask that. Raises his voice again.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you sitting up here preaching to us? Oh my gosh.
Talk about condescension.
And I hope people looking at this video are seeing it in the light of the elected official supposed to be the servant,
Right.
helping the people from, an overreached government. And he may not like it, most on the court may not like it, but do you still treat a citizen like this?
Absolutely not.
That's not the Judge Massengill I remember from the campaign trail.
No, unfortunately not.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've got one more video that kind of shows the extra dig into the citizens because of, nobody better come against me type feeling instead of that public servant feeling. But let's look at this last video.
I've been sitting over here agonizing and thinking about something. I mean, my first impulse when I got the letter from Mr. Erbird the other day, or last night, Sunday night, was to ask him if he'd like to go work in the emergency ward at the hospital. If he doesn't think it's contagious enough or whatever, it's not that bad, so go work at the emergency hospital. But I thought better of that and just invite him down to see if we could do that.
Here's the judge at a special meeting calling out a citizen, Mr. Abear, because he disagrees and wants his business to be open so he can feed his family and others. And he's telling him he thought better of emailing it, but he's going to say it on video anyway. Right? So I take that as he wants Mr. Abear to go to the emergency room and work and get exposed to COVID. Is
That's what
that
it sounds like? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally what he said.
So, what type of elected official says, hey, you disagree with me, so I want you to go work down there and get COVID if you don't think it's serious?
Yeah.
It's not that people don't think it's serious, but why would you do that? He wants to keep his business open. These videos, Nate and Courtney, we've just seen 4 videos. 4. That's it.
Yeah, these are just ones we stumbled on.
And so how do you think, the county judge act or should act? Maybe you look at us and say, oh, you're making a mountain out of a molehill and it's not that big a deal.
I think it is a big deal.
So do I.
Yeah, and if you really do think that, and even if you don't think that, I encourage you to go attend these commissioner courts meetings and see for yourself what goes on there. Because it's this year especially has been unacceptable.
It has been, and we can't show 4 hours of every single video. Go to it. We're not picking and choosing. These are just specific times that people are acting this way. And do you want a county judge that acts this way or a commissioner? I don't.
I don't either.
Nope.
So it's up to the citizens to go up, talk to your elected officials, and tell them what you expect out of each one of them.
Yeah, and if you want to watch these videos for yourself, head over to YouTube and type in Hood County, Texas in the search bar. You'll see the seal for Hood County, and there they have cataloged all the commissioners' courts and special meetings and workshops that they've done since Dave Eagle, I think, is the one that put that into place.
Yep. So you can see everything transparent for all eyes to see. It's all right there.
Thank you once again. And this has been a special Shark Show Shark Tank edition, which hopefully we won't have to do a lot of. But maybe this will help change the demeanor and bring back the Commissioner's Court to follow the right rules and treat the people the right way.
I hope so.
So for today, Shark Show out.